Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are opening up a topic that I think is arguably the most frustrating paradox in all of sports.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
It's that gap. Sometimes it feels like a massive canyon between the swing you have and the score you actually shoot. You know exactly the feeling I'm talking about.
I do.
You go to the range, you flush a 7-iron, the sound is perfect, you feel like a single-digit handicapper, and then you walk off the 18th green signing for a 95.
It is the classic range hero course zero phenomenon, and it is incredibly painful.
It is.
Because the physical capability is clearly there. You see the ball flight on the range.
Yeah.
But the execution on the course it collapses.
Exactly. It's the Jekyll and Hyde of golf. And usually when we try to fix that gap, the default reaction for most of us, and I am definitely guilty of this, is to go straight to the mechanics.
Right. You blame the swing.
We blame the wrist hinge. We blame the hip rotation. We watch slow motion videos of our swing until our eyes bleed. But we've got a stack of insights here from January 2026 that suggests we are fixing the absolute wrong thing.
Yeah, we're looking at the philosophy of coach named Henrik Jentsch.
Right.
And the context here is really interesting. Jentsch is a coach operating out of an indoor golf center in Mulheim. And that indoor setting is actually crucial to his philosophy.
Why is that?
Because indoor golf is brutally honest. I mean, it's all data-driven. There is no wind to blame, no bad bounce to blame. There's nowhere to hide from the numbers.
Yeah.
He works with everyone from total beginners trying to break 100 to scratch players, and he's identified a way to lower scores that technically has nothing to do with your physical swing mechanics.
He calls them non-negotiables, which I have to say sounds a little bit severe. It sounds like a corporate policy or a legal term.
It does, but in this context, he's pitching it almost as a code of conduct for the golf course.
Well, that's a great way to put it.
Think of it less like a corporate policy and more like a safety protocol, like a pilot going through a pre-flight checklist. Jentsch distinguishes these sharply from swing thoughts. A swing thought is, keep your head down, or turn your shoulder. Those are mechanical cues.
Right.
A non-negotiable is a behavioral standard. It is a decision-making rule that you are simply not allowed to break, regardless of how you feel, what the weather's doing, or how much pressure is on the putt.
So it's essentially removing the option to make a stupid decision.
Exactly.
You're taking the choice out of your own hands.
Precisely. It is pre-deciding your reaction to stress. And the promise here is pretty bold. He claims that adhering to these rules is the absolute fastest way to break scoring barriers.
So whether you're trying to break 100, 90, 80...
Well, even par. The barrier usually isn't that you can't hit the shot required, it's that you chose the wrong shot for your actual skill level in that moment.
Which brings us to the core philosophy. Before we get into the specific rules, and we're going to spend a lot of time on the wedge rule today because I think that's where the magic is.
It really is.
We need to understand the mindset shift. Jentsch argues that his job isn't just to teach you how to swing a club beautifully.
No, it's to teach you how to stop bleeding strokes. It is the fundamental difference between potential and performance.
Explain that.
Potential is your best drive. It's that one shot you hit on the range that looked like Rory McIlroy. Performance is your average drive minus your disasters.
And Jentsch focuses entirely on eliminating the disasters.
Exactly. He defines a standard as something you do no matter what. It's the baseline requirement for stepping onto the tee.
And to set the stage, let's briefly touch on his first non-negotiable. We aren't doing a full deep dive on this specific rule today, but it really sets the tone for how strict these rules are.
Rule number 1, it concerns the driver.
The big stick.
The creator of so much ego and so much trouble. The rule is incredibly simple. If the driver is misbehaving, if you aren't hitting it well that day, if you've lost the feel for it,
which happens to all of us.
Oh, all the time. You must hit the fairway with the replacement club.
Must. That's the key word again. It's not a suggestion.
No, it's a mandate. If your driver is putting you in the woods or out of bounds, and you make the decision to pull out a 3-wood or a hybrid to play it safe, that replacement shot cannot miss. It is purely a safety valve. If you hit the safe club into the trees, you have broken the code.
You've taken a defensive shot and turned it into a penalty.
That is unacceptable in this framework.
That makes total sense. It's about stop loss. If you're retreating, you better retreat to safety, not into a different ambush.
Exactly.
But let's move to the meat of today's discussion. The second non-negotiable. This is where I think most amateurs, myself included, lose the most strokes without even realizing it.
This is the wedge rule. And it applies to what Jentsch calls the scoring zone.
Okay, so let's define the rule first, just so everyone is clear on the contract we're signing here.
The rule is, You must hit the green with every wedge.
It sounds deceptively simple. Just hit the green.
It does.
It sounds like something a caddy would say, but it actually implies a massive shift in how we play.
It implies everything. First, let's define the tools we are talking about. We are talking about a 5-iron. We are talking about the high-lofted clubs.
Right, your scoring clubs.
Your lob wedge, usually 60 degrees. Sand wedge, 56. Gap wedge, maybe 50 or 52. And the pitching wedge.
Right. These aren't power tools. You aren't trying to muscle these 200 yards.
Exactly. These are precision instruments. They are designed with high loft to stop the ball quickly. When you have one of these in your hand, you are usually between 50 and 120 meters out.
So you've already done the hard work.
You have likely already hit a good drive. You are in position. You've bypassed the hazards. You're in the fairway. You're the first cut. You're looking at the flag.
You're in business.
Correct. So Jentsch argues that missing the green from this position is effectively a crime against your scorecard.
A crime. I like that.
If you miss the green with a 4-iron from 200 yards, fine. That's a low percentage shot for almost everyone. But with a wedge, you are taking a distinct scoring opportunity and turning it into a scramble.
You are throwing away strokes.
And bringing bogey or double bogey back into play when you should be looking at par or birdie.
It's the unforced error of golf. It's like double faulting in tennis when you have the advantage. But why is this specific rule the hill to die on? Is it just about hitting greens and regulation stats?
It's about the cost of the miss.
Yeah.
Think about the average amateur. If they miss the green from 80 yards, usually because they tried to get too cute with the pin, they are now chipping.
And for the learner profile, chipping is often terrifying.
It is the most anxiety-inducing part of the game for many. You might duff it 2 feet. You might blade it across the green into a bunker on the other side.
Oh, I've been there.
Now you're on your 4th shot, and you are still not on the green. You're looking at a 6 or a 7 on a hole that should have been a standard 4.
So the rule must hit the green is really a shield against the short game meltdown.
It's a shield.
It's keeping the heavy damage off the card.
Exactly. But here's the tricky part. To follow this rule, you have to overcome some massive psychological traps. Jentsch highlights 2 specific ones that I think every listener will recognize immediately.
Okay.
The first is what he calls the favorite distance fallacy.
Oh, I am absolutely guilty of this. I have a number, 85 yards.
Yeah.
If I'm at 85 yards with my 56-degree wedge, I feel like a pro. I see the shot, I feel the swing. But if I'm at 65 yards or 95, I freeze up.
You and millions of others, it's incredibly common. Players will actually manipulate their game to get to that number.
Right, you lay up to it.
They'll lay up on a par 5 to exactly that yardage, or they'll try to steer a drive to leave that specific shot.
Playing to your strengths seems logical, though. Why does Jentsch see this as a problem?
Because golf is inherently chaotic.
Yeah.
You cannot control the yardage that precisely. The wind shifts, the bounce is weird, the tee markers are moved, the pin is in the back. If your entire game relies on hitting a full sand wedge from exactly 85 yards, your game is fragile. As soon as you are forced out of that comfort zone, say you have to hit a half-swing gap wedge from 60 yards, the anxiety spikes, the tension creeps into the arms, and the error happens.
So the non-negotiable forces you to be agnostic about the club. You can't play favorites.
Yes.
Yes.
The standard requires that every wedge in the bag must provide confidence. You cannot be afraid of your own tools.
Okay.
Whether it's a knockdown pitching wedge or a full lob wedge, the outcome must be the same, ball on green. You have to trust the capability of the bag, not just one lucky club.
Which leads us to the second trap, which I think is even more insidious because we feed it to ourselves by watching TV. The TV illusion.
This is a huge problem for expectation management. We sit on the couch, we watch the PGA Tour on Sundays. We see a pro with a wedge in hand, 100 meters out.
Yep.
He hits it, it lands, spins back, and stops 25 feet from the hole.
And the commentator sighs like someone just died.
Exactly. They say, ooh, he won't be happy with that one. That's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
He's left himself a lot of work.
And we absorb that commentary. We internalize it. We think, okay, 25 feet is bad. If I have a wedge, I should be sticking it inside 10 feet. If I don't, I failed.
It is a complete distortion of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best players on earth, in peak form, on perfectly manicured surfaces, often playing from perfectly flat lies.
Right.
For the learner, the target audience Jentsch is speaking to, that commentary is poison. It sets an impossible standard that leads to aggressive play.
So let's reset the calibration. If I am an amateur, say a 15 handicap or even a 10, and I have a wedge from 100 yards, what is a good shot?
Any shot that stays on the putting surface, period.
Even if you are 40 feet away.
Even if you are on the wrong tier of the green.
40 feet away feels like a failure when you're holding a wedge. You feel like you wasted the drive.
But look at the math. If you are on the green, you are putting. Putting is the safest action in golf. You rarely lose a ball putting.
Right.
You rarely hit a ball out of bounds putting.
True. I don't think I've ever lost a ball on the green.
Yeah.
The worst case is usually a 3-putt.
And a 3-putt from 40 feet is a bogey. A 2-putt is a par. But if you try to get cute, if you aim for that teched pin to get it close because you think 40 feet is bad, and you short-side yourself in a bunker. Now, bogey is your best-case scenario. Double or triple is in play.
So the strategy shifts from attack the pin to secure the green.
Correct. Green equals success. It shifts the pressure entirely. You don't have to hit a miracle shot. You don't have to spin it back. You just have to hit a large, stationary target.
I love the philosophy. It's incredibly freeing. It takes the heroics out of it. But, and here's the big but.
Here it comes.
Knowing it is one thing. Doing it under pressure is another. I can tell myself, just hit the green, but my body might still tense up and shank it. How do we bridge that gap?
That is why you can't just think your way through this. You have to train it. Jentsch provides a specific drill called the 3-ball wedge training. And I have to warn you, listening to this drill description might raise your blood pressure. It is designed to be frustrating.
I'm ready to be hurt. Walk us through it.
Okay, imagine you are at the driving range. Step 1 is the setup. You need to define a target distance for every wedge in your bag.
So like 60 meters for the lob wedge, 80 for the sand wedge.
Exactly. You pick a flag or a zone on the range. You need a defined target area that represents a green, maybe 10 yards wide.
Yeah.
Now, step 2, the challenge. You start with the shortest club, the lob wedge.
Got it.
You must hit 3 balls in a row onto that target green.
3 consecutively, not 2 out of 3.
Consecutive is the key word. You hit 3 in a row, you graduate. You put the lob wedge away and pull out the sand wedge. You repeat the process. 3 hits in a row on the sand wedge target. Then the gap wedge.
It sounds like a standard progression. Where is the pain?
The pain is in the consequence. It's a game of snakes and ladders.
Oh.
If you miss one shot, you slide back down.
Wait, explain that. If I'm on the gap wedge, so I've already passed the lob wedge and the sand wedge, and I miss my 3rd shot, where do I go?
You go back to the sand wedge.
Right.
You have to re-qualify on the previous club to even get another attempt at the gap wedge.
Oh, that is diabolical. That is genuinely cruel.
It is brutal. Imagine you are on your pitching wedge, the final level. You hit 2 perfect shots. You have 1 ball left to beat the drill and go home.
The pressure is on.
You get a little tight, you block it right. You don't just restart the pitching wedge. You have to do the walk of shame back to the gap wedge.
I can feel the tension just thinking about it. My hands are getting sweaty.
That is the point. Think about the driving range experience normally. It's consequence-free. You rake a ball, whack it, rake another. If you shank one, you laugh, maybe check your grip, and hit the next one.
Yeah, 0 emotional stakes.
0. It's just exercise. It's not golf.
Yeah.
Golf requires consequences. But on the course, every shot has a consequence. This drill artificially injects pressure into your practice. When you are standing over that 3rd ball, knowing a miss sends you back to the kiddie table, your heart rate goes up.
Oh, yeah.
Your hands get sweaty. Your brain starts saying, don't miss, don't miss.
It mimics that first tee jitter or the pressure of trying to break 90 on the 18th hole when you need a bogey to win your match.
Precisely. It forces you to focus. You stop just swinging and start competing. Jentsch also suggests variations. You can start with a wide target to build confidence, but as you get better, you narrow that target to simulate tighter pins.
So, aside from making us cry at the range and question our life choices, what are the technical benefits here? Because surely it does something for the swing, too.
It does 3 main things. First, it's a diagnostic tool. If you breeze through the lob wedge and pitching wedge, but you get stuck on the sand wedge for 20 minutes.
You know exactly where the leak is.
You can't hide from the data. You have a technical bottleneck with that specific club. Is it direction? Is it contact? You have to fix it to pass the level. You can't just ignore it and move on.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second thing?
Second, it builds what we call safety trust.
Safety trust. That sounds like a bank term.
It means the confidence that you can hit the green on command. When you finish this drill, you haven't just hit one lucky shot. You've hit streaks of good shots under pressure.
Right.
So when you are on the course and pull the gap wedge, your brain isn't panicking. It remembers, oh, we did this. We owned this distance on the range. We did 3 in a row when it counted.
You're banking the reps. You're depositing confidence.
And third, and this is critical for the learner profile, it forces you to learn distance control and feel. You stop hitting full 100% power swings at everything. You start feeling the yardage because you have to hit the target to advance.
You start swinging at 85% capacity.
Which usually leads to better contact anyway.
It fundamentally changes your course management, doesn't it? Because if you train this way, you stop looking at the pin.
You have to.
Yeah.
If the rule is hit the green and the pin is tucked behind a bunker on the left, you aim for the middle. Because aiming at the pin risks missing the target and failing the drill, or in reality, failing the hole.
It creates that snowball effect we always talk about.
Yes. More greens hit equals more putts. More putts means you are eliminating double bogeys. You are saving tars. And eventually, just by the law of averages, if you are putting for birdie 12 times around, a few are going to drop.
You'll drain a 20-footer by accident.
By accident. But you didn't force the birdie. You allowed it to happen by respecting the non-negotiable.
You raised your floor.
Exactly.
That's a key concept I want to linger on. We always obsess over raising our ceiling, hitting that one 300-yard drive or that one flop shot over the tree. But scoring is about raising the floor so your worst golf is still playable.
That is what separates the scratch golfer from the 15 handicap. Their bad shots are still in play. Their bad wedge shot is on the fringe, not in the water. This system teaches you to play what I like to call professional amateur golf.
Professional amateur golf. I like that. It's dignified.
It is. It's playing within your means, but with a professional mindset.
So let's recap the commandments here for the listeners gearing up for the 2026 season. We have 2 non-negotiables from Jentsch.
Number 1, disaster prevention off the tee. If the driver is cold, the backup club must find the fairway.
No ego, just safety.
You do not have permission to miss with the safety club.
And number 2, the deep dive for today, the wedge rule.
If a wedge is in your hand lob, sand, gap, pitching the ball must find the green surface. No pin seeking, no favorite yardages. Just put it on the dance floor.
And I think it's important to emphasize who this is for. We talked about pros, but this is really for the high handicapper, isn't it?
Absolutely. A scratch golfer effectively does this already. They hit 12 or 13 greens around. For the player trying to break 100 or 90, adhering to this rule is the fastest way to drop 10 strokes.
Wow.
You eliminate the blow-up holes. You eliminate the duffed chips. It's pure efficiency.
It's empowering because you don't need to change your swing. You don't need 6 months of expensive lessons to decide to aim for the center of the green.
You can implement this tomorrow. The discipline is hard, but the application is immediate. You don't need a new grip to make a better decision.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on as you head to the range or the first tee. We talked about that 3-ball wedge drill. The frustration of missing that third shot and having to go back a step, it burns.
It does.
It's annoying. It makes you want to snap the club.
Yeah.
But ask yourself this question.
Is that frustration on the range worse than the frustration of writing an 8 on your scorecard?
That's the trade-off. Are you willing to suffer a little bit on the practice ground to smile when you sign your scorecard?
It's a question of discipline versus regret. Which one do you want to feel?
I think we all know the answer to that one. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Go hit some greens, keep it on the short stuff, and stick to the code. We'll see you next time.
Play well.